let's talk about something important. When you look in the mirror, who do you see? Someone who starts strong but gives up fast, or someone who keeps going slow and steady? Picture two boxers in a ring. The first one, let's call him Blaze, hits really hard. His punches are so strong, they could break walls. The crowd cheers for every big punch. But watch closely. After a while, Blaze gets tired. His arms start to drop. He's breathing hard. The fire in his eyes is going out. Now look at the other boxer. We'll call him River. He's not as flashy. His punches don't make the crowd yell. But see how he moves? Steady, like water flowing over rocks. Round after round, River keeps going. He doesn't slow down or lose focus. By the end of the fight, when Blaze is almost out of energy, River is still going strong. So, which boxer do you think wins the fight? Today, we're going to learn the secret of being a true champion. It's not about how hard you can hit life. It's about how long you can stay in the fight. Are you ready to become great? Let's go. I see you, dream builder. I see your fire, your passion, your big dreams. But I also see your struggles. The days when you feel like giving up. The times when you wonder if you're good enough. You're not alone. We've all been there. Some days, you feel like you can do anything. You get everything done and feel amazing. But other days, you can barely get out of bed. It's like being on a roller coaster, right? The ups are fun, but the downs are awful. And the worst part, you end up right back where you started, feeling tired and sad. I remember when this happened to me. Years ago, I decided to write a book. On the first day, I was on fire. I wrote for hours. The words just flowed out. I felt like I could do anything. But by the third day, I couldn't write a single word. I felt like a failure. So I gave up. I told myself I wasn't meant to be a writer. But here's the truth, dream builder. I wasn't a failure. I was just playing the wrong game. I was trying to be Blaze when I needed to be River. You see, our world loves big, flashy actions. We cheer for all-nighters and non-stop work. We see people on social media who seem to get success overnight, and we think that's what we need to do to be great. But let me tell you a secret. That's not how real champions are made. Real champions know one important truth. Doing a little bit every day beats doing a lot once in a while. Think about it. Would you rather have a friend who does one big nice thing for you once, or one who does small nice things every day? Would you rather work out super hard once, or exercise a little bit every day for a year? Would you rather eat perfectly for one day, or eat pretty well every day of your life? The answer is clear, right? But knowing this and doing it are two different things. And that's where it gets hard. You start a new habit with big plans. Maybe it's meditation or exercise or learning something new. For the first few days, you do a lot. You meditate for an hour, you work out hard, you study for hours. But then life gets in the way. Work gets busy, your family needs you, you're tired and stressed, and suddenly that hour of meditation feels impossible. That big workout, it feels like climbing a mountain. So you skip a day, then another, and before you know it, you're back where you started, feeling like you failed. Again, it's so frustrating, isn't it? This cycle of starting and stopping, of being super excited and then burning out. It's like trying to climb a mountain on a roller coaster. You might go up for a bit, but you always come crashing back down. I want you to know something important. This frustration you're feeling, it doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you're human, trying to do something really hard. But what if there was another way? A way that doesn't ask you to be superhuman, but still lets you do amazing things. There is. It comes from a place called Japan. It's an idea that has helped many people and businesses. It's called Kaizen, and it's going to change everything for you. Kaizen means getting a little bit better every day. It's a way of thinking that says, small, steady steps are better than big leaps. The power of Kaizen is that it's so simple. Instead of trying to change everything at once, you focus on getting a tiny bit better every day. So tiny, it might seem like nothing. But here's the magic, dream builder. Those tiny improvements add up. Day after day, week after week, they build on each other. And before you know it, you've climbed that mountain without ever feeling like you took a big step. Imagine you're building a wall. The Blaze way would be to try and stack all the bricks at once. It might work, but the wall would probably fall down. The Kaizen way? Put one brick in place at a time, as well as you can. It might seem slow at first, but brick by brick, day by day, you build a wall that's super strong. That's the power of doing a little bit every day instead of a lot all at once. That's how champions think. Remember that book I gave up on? Years later, I tried again, but this time I used the Kaizen way. Instead of trying to write for hours, I promised to write just 500 words a day. Some days, those 500 words came easy. Other days, they were really hard. But I showed up every single day. And you know what, Dream Builder? Those 500 words a day turned into a finished book. That book got published. And that book, it changed people's lives. The difference wasn't in how good I was or how much I wanted it. The difference was in how I did it. I stopped trying to be Blaze and learned to be River. Now, you might be thinking, that sounds great, but how do I actually do this? How do I become River? I'm glad you asked. I'm not just here to make you feel good. I'm here to give you tools to change your life. So let's talk about 3 things you can do right now. First, decide on your minimum viable effort, or MVE. This is the smallest thing you can do each day that moves you toward your goal. Want to get in shape? Your MVE might be doing 1 push-up a day. Want to write a book? Your MVE could be writing 1 sentence. Want to learn a new language? Your MVE might be learning 1 new word. Now you might be thinking, 1 push-up, 1 sentence? That's nothing. But that's exactly the point. It's so small, so easy, that you have no excuse not to do it. And here's the cool part. Once you start, you often end up doing more. Let's say you want to start meditating. Your MVE could be taking 3 deep breaths every morning. That's it. Just 3 breaths. Can you do that? Of course you can. It takes less than a minute. But here's what happens. You take those 3 breaths, and you think, well, I'm already here. Might as well do a few more. Before you know it, you're meditating for 5 minutes, then 10, then 15. But even on your busiest days, you can always do those 3 breaths. You keep the habit going, and that's what matters. Here's what I want you to do. Right now, decide on your MVE for your biggest goal. Remember, it should be so small, it seems silly. Write it down. Promise to do it. The second step is to make your progress easy to see. When you're making small changes, it's hard to feel like you're getting anywhere. That's where keeping track comes in. There are lots of ways to keep track. You could use a calendar and mark off each day you do your MVE. You could use an app on your phone. You could write in a journal. How you do it doesn't matter as much as doing it every day. Think of your tracker like a map of your journey. Each mark is like a step on that map. One step might not seem like much, but when you look back after a month or 3 months or a year, you'll see how far you've come. Here's what to do. Choose a way to track that you like. Set it up right now. Yes, right now. I'll wait. Done? Good. Now make your first mark. You've already taken your first step on this journey. The third step is about keeping going. It's something a famous comedian named Jerry Seinfeld used to become one of the best comics ever. Here's how it works. Get a big calendar that shows a whole year. Every day that you do your MVE, put a big red X on that day. After a few days, you'll have a chain of X's. Your job is to not break the chain. This works for 2 reasons. First, it lets you see your progress, just like the tracker. But more importantly, it makes you want to keep going. Our brains love to finish things we start. You know how you feel? Like you have to finish a TV show, even if you're not enjoying it anymore? Or how you can't stand to leave a puzzle unfinished. This chain taps into that feeling. The longer your chain gets, the more you'll want to keep it going. Here's what to do. Get a wall calendar or make one on your computer. Start your chain today. Remember, the goal isn't to have the longest chain ever. It's to have the longest chain you can keep going. Now, you might be thinking, but what if I miss a day? What if I break the chain? First of all, it's going to happen. You're human. Life happens. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to keep improving. If you miss a day, don't be hard on yourself. Don't use it as a reason to give up. Just start a new chain the very next day. Remember, champions aren't defined by their failures. They're defined by how quickly they get back up. It reminds me of a story about Thomas Edison. When his factory burned down, destroying years of work, he didn't give up. Instead, he said, "Great. All our mistakes have been burned up. Now we can start fresh." That's how a true champion thinks. We've talked about a lot today. We've learned about the power of doing a little bit every day instead of a lot all at once. We've explored the idea of Kaizen from Japan. We've given you 3 things you can do right now to start thinking like a champion. Before we finish, I want to leave you with one last thought. Remember our 2 boxers, Blaze and River? The truth is, you have both of them inside you. You can do big bursts of energy and steady, consistent effort. The key is knowing when to be which. There will be times in your life when you need to be Blaze, when you need to give it everything you've got. But for the long journey of becoming who you're meant to be, you need to be River. Because here's the truth, dream builder. The race isn't always won by the fastest. It's won by those who keep running. Your ability to keep going is your superpower. Use it and watch as you slowly but surely reach heights you once only dreamed of. So here's what I want you to do right now. Pick one area of your life where you've been trying to be Blaze. Maybe it's getting fit, or doing better in your job, or working on a personal project. Now, I want you to approach it like river. Decide on your minimum viable effort. Set up your tracker. Start your chain. And tomorrow, when you wake up, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Promise that no matter what life throws at you, you'll show up. You'll do that one push-up, write that one sentence, take those 3 breaths. Because that's what champions do. They show up every day, no matter what. You have greatness in you, dream builder. It's not a question of if you'll achieve your dreams, but when. And that when starts now. Not with a big jump, but with a small step. Take that step. Be the champion I know you are. And remember, I believe in you. Now go out there and make it happen.